The Zelthari High Commander Varric stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, watching the blue and green planet rotate slowly before him. His four eyes blinked in sequence as he studied the primitive world. Earth, they called it. A small rock circling an average star in an unremarkable corner of the galaxy. His scouts had observed this species for nearly 2 decades. They had seen their petty wars, their divided nations, and their laughable weapons. Vorac's mandibles clicked together in what passed for a smile among his kind. "Begin the invasion sequence," he ordered, his voice carrying the weight of absolute certainty. Behind him, 3,000 warships of the Zelthari Collective powered their weapons. They had conquered 47 species across 6 star systems. Not once had they faced defeat. The humans possessed nuclear weapons and crude chemical rockets. They had only recently begun exploring their own solar system. By every measure, this would be the easiest conquest in Zelthari history. The first wave of Zelthari dropships descended through Earth's atmosphere like burning meteors. They targeted the major population centers. New York, Beijing, Moscow, London, and a dozen other cities found themselves under alien assault within hours. The Zelthari ground forces poured out of their ships with confidence. Their plasma rifles melted through concrete and steel. Their energy shields deflected the bullets fired by panicking police officers. The humans fled in terror, and Varric watched the chaos unfold from orbit with deep satisfaction. What Varric did not know was that Earth had prepared for this day. 40 years ago, a Zelthari scout ship had crashed in the remote mountains of Nepal. The wreckage was discovered by a climbing expedition that included 3 scientists working for various world governments. Within weeks, representatives from every major nation gathered in secret. They studied the alien technology. They decoded the ship's logs. They learned that the Zelthari Collective was coming, and they understood that humanity had perhaps 4 decades to prepare. The governments of Earth did something remarkable. They set aside their differences. In underground facilities scattered across the planet, the greatest minds of humanity worked together on a single purpose. They reverse-engineered the alien power systems. They improved upon the weapons designs. They built ships in hidden bases on the Moon, on Mars, and in the asteroid belt. And they waited. The organization they created was called the Imperial Fleet. It answered to no single nation, but to humanity itself. Its existence was the most closely guarded secret in human history. When the Zelthari invasion began, the Imperial Fleet was ready. Admiral Jiang Wei watched the invasion unfold from her command center, buried deep beneath the Swiss Alps. She was 73 years old and had spent her entire adult life preparing for this moment. Around her, officers from every nation on Earth monitored the enemy movements. The Zelthari had committed their ground forces. Their warships remained in high orbit, their commanders confident that the battle was already won. "The invaders have taken the bait," Jiang announced to her fleet commanders via encrypted quantum channels. "All units, execute Operation Revelation." Across the solar system, the Imperial Fleet awakened. On the dark side of the Moon, massive hangar doors slid open, and ships powered by technology that combined human innovation with reverse-engineered alien systems rose into the void. From hidden bases on Mars, squadrons of fighters launched toward Earth. In the asteroid belt, the heaviest warships of humanity's secret navy began their acceleration burn. They had been waiting for years, their crews living in isolation, training for a battle they hoped would never come but knew was inevitable. High Commander Varric received the first reports of the human response with confusion. His sensors detected vessels emerging from the Moon, vessels of significant size. Vessels powered by energy signatures that matched Zelthari technology. "Impossible," he muttered. "They are primitives. They should not possess such capabilities." But the evidence before his eyes was undeniable. The human ships were not crude rockets strapped together with hope and prayer. They were warships, real warships. And they were coming fast. Admiral Zhang's flagship, the Defiance of Earth, led the lunar force toward the Zelthari fleet. The ship was 3 kilometers long, its hull armored with materials that human scientists had developed by studying Zelthari metallurgy and then improving upon it. Its weapons were a fusion of alien plasma technology and human railgun systems. Where the Zelthari used brute force, humans had added precision. Where the Zelthari relied on shields, humans had developed weapons specifically designed to penetrate them. All ships, this is the Admiral. Zhang broadcast to her fleet. For 40 years, we have prepared in silence. Our families do not know where we serve. Our nations do not acknowledge we exist. We have sacrificed everything for this moment. Today, we show these invaders what humanity is capable of. Today, we fight for Earth. The first shots of the true battle were fired by the destroyer Swift Justice as it intercepted a Zelthari patrol squadron. The human railguns fired projectiles at speeds that Zelthari sensors could barely track. The first enemy ship exploded before its captain even understood they were under attack. Vorak watched in horror as ship after ship vanished from his tactical display. The humans were not fighting like primitives. They were fighting with strategy, with coordination, and with weapons that matched or exceeded Zelthari capabilities. He ordered his fleet to regroup, to form defensive formations, but the humans had studied Zelthari tactics for decades. They knew every formation, every standard response, every weakness. The Mars contingent arrived 6 hours into the battle. 300 fresh ships tore into the Zelthari rear guard with devastating effect. Human fighters swarmed around the larger alien vessels, their pilots trained in simulators that perfectly replicated Zelthari ship capabilities. They knew exactly where to target, exactly how to evade enemy fire, exactly when to press the attack and when to withdraw. On Earth, the population watched the battle unfold through telescopes and satellite feeds. The secret was out. Humanity had a space navy. Humanity had been preparing for this war since before most of them were born, and humanity was winning. Vorak ordered a retreat. It was the first time in his long career that he had ever spoken those words. His fleet, which had numbered 3,000 at the battle's start, had been reduced to less than half that number. The human ships pursued relentlessly. They showed no mercy, gave no quarter, offered no opportunity for surrender. Admiral Zhang commanded from the center of the chaos. She was everywhere at once, directing squadrons, adjusting tactics, pushing her forces to their limits. When the asteroid fleet finally arrived, Vorak knew that the battle was lost. The human dreadnoughts were massive vessels, each one capable of engaging 10 Zelthari ships simultaneously. Their weapons carved through the collective's remaining forces with terrible efficiency. The Eternal Dominion took a direct hit to its primary reactor. Vorak felt his ship shudder and die around him. Emergency power activated, but he knew it was only a matter of time. Through his viewport, he watched the human flagship approach. Its weapons remained silent. It was waiting. "High Commander Vorak," a human voice said, through his communication system. The translation was perfect. "This is Admiral Zhang Wei of the Terran Imperial fleet. You invaded our world. You killed our people. You thought we were weak. You were wrong." Vorak stared at the approaching ship. "How?" he asked. "How did you develop such technology? How did you know we were coming?" "Your scout ship crashed on our planet 40 years ago," Zhang replied. "You left us a gift. We used it well. Vorak's mandibles went slack. A single crashed scout ship. A minor accident that should have meant nothing. And from that, the humans had built an empire capable of destroying the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. What happens now?" he asked. "Now you deliver a message to the rest of the collective. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that Earth is not a target. Tell them that humanity is no longer alone in the dark. We have found our place among the stars, and we will defend it against anyone who threatens us." Vorak's escape pod launched from the dying Dominion. Around him, The survivors of the Zelthari fleet were being allowed to retreat. The humans were not pursuing. They were letting the defeated enemy go, so that the tale of this day would spread across the galaxy. On Earth, the ground forces of the Zelthari found themselves surrounded. Their support was gone. Their evacuation ships were destroyed. They surrendered by the thousands, confused and frightened, unable to understand how their certain victory had become total defeat. In the weeks that followed, the world changed forever. The existence of the Imperial fleet was officially acknowledged. Its ships descended from orbit to be seen by the people they had protected. Admiral Jiang became the most famous person on the planet, though she rejected all offers of political power. Her job, she said, was to defend Earth. That job was not finished. Because the Zelthari collective was vast, and Varrok's message would spread. Other species would learn that humanity had risen. Some would come in peace, curious about this young species that had defeated a galactic power. Others would come seeking revenge or glory or conquest. The Imperial fleet expanded. The hidden bases became public facilities. Young men and women from every nation applied to serve. Humanity was no longer a divided species, squabbling over patches of ground on a single planet. They were a spacefaring civilization, tested in battle and proven in war. High Commander Vorik lived the rest of his life in disgrace. But he never forgot what he had seen above Earth. He never forgot the impossible sight of human warships rising from the darkness. And when other commanders of the collective spoke of attempting another invasion, Vorik would tell them the truth. Earth was not weak. Earth was not primitive. Earth was waiting. And the Imperial fleet would answer any threat with the same devastating response. Some worlds were simply not worth the cost of conquest. The humans had made that lesson clear. Their planet was small. Their star was average. Their position in the galaxy was unremarkable. But humanity itself was extraordinary. And the universe was only beginning to learn what that meant. The stars, once cold and distant, now belonged to everyone. Every child on Earth could look up at the night sky and know that they were not alone, that their species had proven itself worthy of its place among the cosmos. The invaders had come expecting easy prey. They found instead a sleeping giant, awakened and ready to defend its home. Victory had seemed so certain to the Zelthari. The numbers had supported their confidence. The history of their conquests had promised success. But they had made the fatal mistake of underestimating a species that had spent its entire existence fighting against impossible odds. Humanity had climbed from caves to the stars. They had survived ice ages and plagues and wars among themselves. They had looked at the universe and refused to accept that they were insignificant. When the invaders came, humanity did not cower. They did not surrender. They rose up, united for the first time in their history, and they showed the galaxy what they were capable of achieving. The Imperial fleet remained vigilant, patrolling the solar system and beyond. New ships were built every year. New recruits joined the service. And somewhere in the vastness of space, alien civilizations whispered warnings to each other about the small blue planet and the fierce creatures who called it home. Earth had announced its presence to the universe, and the universe would never forget the lesson it learned that day.